I will be celebrating my 10-year transplant anniversary in March.
I was diagnosed in July of 2014. I had actually been feeling symptoms since February, but didn't realize what was going on.
I've had PBC diagnosed now for 8 years.
Right now, my prognosis seems to be very good. At diagnosis, I was at a stage 3 for both diseases. I had bridging fibrosis, which is stage 3, just before cirrhosis. And at my last biopsy 2 years ago, I was down to stage 1. So we not only slowed things down, but we actually reversed the process to this point.
No one really told me a prognosis or outlook. I was just told it's PBC, and the doctor said, we'll just keep an eye on your labs. We've started you on the URSO. We'll go from there. I think it's very important to be your own advocate, and I cannot stress that enough, because I had to read everything and then go to my doctor. And if she didn't know something, okay, who do we ask next? And you have to be very forthcoming. You cannot lay back and just let them bring the information to you. I know from a medical background that sometimes you don't want to tell the whole picture to the patient. They'll get scared. They won't want to continue on with something, so you feed them little bits at a time. And I'm very much a tell me everything up front, then I can make my plan. I can move on with my life.
Before my transplant, there was extreme fatigue. There was terrible itching. The itching is not like just a scratch or a mosquito bite where you have to itch it. It's just this uncontrollable urge to itch because the sensation is there. My husband would wake up in the middle of the night and I would literally be digging in my shins or my arms to the point where there were red streaks, because you just can't satisfy that itch. It's not like anything anybody's ever experienced, and there really is not much they can do for it. You know, the doctors always told me, cut your nails, wear mittens to bed, because when you're sleeping and you can't control the scratching, you could cause infection. There's some other inherent dangers with scratching in the middle of the night. But, it's just unbelievable. So the difference for patients that are pre-transplant versus post-transplant, there are certain things you have to avoid pre-transplant. But post-transplant, there are certain foods you can't eat, no shellfish. Certain medications have switched. So you can take acetaminophen now, as opposed to now no longer taking the Motrin and the Advil. So certain medications do change that they want you to stay away from. Certain foods, you absolutely cannot eat any raw meats, any raw seafood. Sushi's out. But your activity level, there's still some fatigue that goes with the anti-rejection medication, but so that's very similar, but you still, you're living your life and you've been giving a gift. I have a life now 10 years later that I wouldn't have had. The thing with PBC and sharing with others is that, you want people to know that you're sick. You need to explain to them the autoimmune disease. It's triggered. You're not sure how. And, you want others to understand that, I'm sorry if I can't be everything I need to be right now, but, I had children, so I depended on a lot of friends for carpooling. And even in regular situations, if one child has to be here and another has to be there and another here, somebody's getting pulled in different directions and carpooling. We had a lot of support with the neighbors and the friends, and family was amazing. So it's you really do need some support with the entire process of first getting diagnosed, going for testing, getting sick, and then as you're getting sicker, having that support system to keep you on track. Like, I wanted to stay positive. I wanted to know that this wasn't going to defeat me. This wasn't going to be this wasn't my song. This wasn't the end of it, for sure. And then to help others.
The end game could possibly be transplant, but there are so many advances happening in medicine right now, and even in the PBC world, that transplant is hopefully very far at the end of the treatment phase.